morning. So today I have someone on the guest whose company you might probably know because when I was a kid and whenever I used to struggle with the concept, that was the company I used to turn to, Coursero. Let's welcome Deeksha on 10 Minutes of Hiding Wisdom, where she will tell us about why she's a team player, why she likes to build communities, and why specifically she is interested in making a difference. Hi, Deeksha. How are you doing?
Hi, Mina. Thanks for having me
Of
today.
course. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Deeksha, can you tell us about where you're currently working, what you do within that company?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I work at Course Hero. We're a unicorn EdTech company in Silicon Valley. We've been around for about 15 years. I work as the director of Educator Partnerships, Community and Events, which is a team that the company started 4 years ago. So we're heavily invested in ensuring that we create a learning platform for students and faculty to learn and engage with each other. And I've been fortunate to work on the faculty
I
side.
think you're doing a great job at that because I learned so much. I was a person who did not pay attention in class. So I was like, okay, I will not pay attention. Instead, I'll go home, open Coursero, and learn the courses there. So I can definitely see that you guys have been doing a great job, specifically because I think a lot of kids usually just can't pay attention in class. And having something like that which you can study on your pace is absolutely wonderful.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for being a part of a company like this,
Oh.
Deeksha. It definitely matters a lot. So what got you into education, Deeksha? Did you always know you wanted to be a part of this? What was your motivation?
Yeah, so as I mentioned to you briefly, I'm originally from India, and I got involved in education about 17, 18 years ago. And given the country that I come from, I think it's one of the most powerful ways to enable people to empower themselves is to have a strong education, because then we learn how to make choices. We learn to understand the choices that we have and act on them. So I got involved in education through Azim Premji Foundation in India. And then since then, I have stuck to this space. My goal has always been, how do we reach the last mile? And I think technology is a very, very powerful way of creating equitable access for everyone, no matter what age they're at, no matter where they live, how much money they have to learn, to continuously learn. And so that's
That's
what brought
very
me to
beautiful.
Course Hero as well.
That's very beautiful. And I'm just curious, what is the last mile according to you? Like what's the last milestone? Like where does it end for you?
It's a good question. I think there's always a lot to learn. For instance, even with myself, in 2017, I decided to do another master's in education
Oh
leadership
wow.
and administration. So I'd been out of the school system for over a decade and went back. I think the industry changes so much. The workforce has changed a lot since I joined 17 years ago. There's always opportunity to learn and grow and to hone our skill set. So that's what I love about it. There's no end to it.
I love that. I think as humans, we definitely need to understand that we should always have this growth mindset approach because there's always so much you can learn from other people, from different cultures, different religions, different countries. That the
Mhm.
learning never stops. So I love that you specifically belong to an education field, but then again, you know how, even though as in like you think you've learned enough, there's always going to be something new that's out there that you would want to
Mhm.
learn. So thank you for sharing that, Diksha. And you mentioned that you went back to masters. What persuaded you? Like, I just got out of undergrad. I'm just like, I'm done with studying. I cannot be bothered. I am done. And my parents are like, I think you should go for masters. And I'm just like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want to. But I think that's still on the debate. But what got you back into
So
studying?
I'd been working in education for about a decade, right? And there was a lot of experience I developed practically, being on the ground, working with students, with faculty, with parents. And I sort of wanted to understand, create my own framework. And I thought that going back to school will help me understand how to create a framework and then give me a launch pad to move forward. And I think it was a great decision for me because I learned a lot on the policy and administration side, which now comes handy in the work that I do.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. And did you always know you wanted to go towards a master's in policy and administration, or was it just something you were like, okay, this sounds interesting, I will go
Yeah,
towards
actually, if
this?
somebody had told me 10 years ago that I'd want to do this, I would likely have had the same reaction you did, that I'm down. I want to actually do some work. Um, it was a combination of the work experience I'd had and the questions that just kept coming back based on what I'd done. So, where is the money? How is it being distributed? How much agency do faculty have? What rights do parents and students have in the classroom? So that's what made it easier for me to make this choice. But I think it really depends
Okay.
on what people want.
It worked out
Yeah.
for you. I mean, you learned and you grew, and it's helping you in your job. So, I mean, kudos to you because you chose something that is helping you accelerate in your career. And that sounds wonderful. But, Diksha, I'm interested to hear regarding the culture of Coursera. Like, it's an educational company. How exactly does it differentiate itself from other platforms like Udemy, Coursera? Like, what defines Coursera according to you?
Yeah. So I think we're very focused on helping students learn. And so we don't think that we need to replace the classroom. We want to supplement what's happening in the classroom. We want to be a strong support to both faculty and students. That's the primary thing I think that distinguishes us from other players in the market. Our focus has always been, like on my team, the focus has always been how do we support faculty? Like America has a really fantastic large group of academics, and it's a very hard space to navigate to learn to become faculty. We all learn how to become subject matter experts, but we don't learn how to teach effectively, and that comes with the job. So I think Coursera invests a lot in helping faculty connect with other faculty, learn best practices, share what their experiences have been, and pass that along to ensure that the classroom is more effective for students to learn. Yeah.
Okay, I can definitely see how it differentiates itself because I think a lot of other videos specifically want to replace the classroom system, whereas Course Hero I think wants to supplement the learning process and help in activating and enabling students and teachers to learn as much as they can, which is something that's very impressive because they go both hand in hand. So I can see why it would work out. And Diksha, the one last question would be because you've been in the education industry for quite a while, what is some advice that you have for job seekers out there who would want to pursue a career in education like you do?
So it's a good question. I think there are several. It's actually a very, very interesting space to be in right now. There's a lot of opportunity to work in education technology or in traditional education organizations as well. What I would say is find out what's important to me is what is the mission of the company, what's the North Star, and what how is that reflected in the work that they're doing. So in the products that they offer, in the programs that they run, and there's a skill set that is required which is beyond the technical skill set. Like relationship management is extremely important when you work with people, and education is a place where relationships are very, very important. So if you have that, I think there's opportunity for you to be involved. Program management, project management, interest in data, content writing. There are endless possibilities outside of your product managers, engineers, data analysts, and the likes. So yeah.
Okay, I can see why you said that's a very interesting space to be in because I think there's always room for opportunity because there's so much
Mhm.
you can do in this, and everyone would want to improve the education space just because you want to make people learn as much as you can. But Diksha, thank you so much for coming on this show. It was an absolute pleasure having you as a guest, and I do hope you get a chance to visit Pakistan, like you mentioned. And if you do ever happen to be in the country, let me know. I would
Thank
love to
you
show
so
you around.
much. And I hope
Of course, but I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you continue to excel in the
Thank you,
education
Meenal.
space.
Thanks for having me, and I hope you get a chance to
Of
visit
course,
India, and hopefully I'll
hopefully,
get
fingers
to
crossed.
reciprocate.